And you'll earn a 3.14% annual percentage yield just for keeping your money with us for 13 months. The minimum deposit and balance for this certificate of deposit special is $10,000. For more details, visit INB.com. Apply at any INB branch or on our website. INB, member FDIC.
Well, we're not quite done just yet. Brian Lauer here, and I hope you all had a great Christmas. I know I did. It was the last retail Christmas season for me. See, I've been in retail since I was in 8th grade. But don't say goodbye just yet. We still have inventory to sell. So, we may be open another couple of weeks or till it's gone. Bring your Christmas cash and save big. Hours are 11 to 6, Tuesday through Saturday, in the beautiful Montvale Junction Shopping Center on West Isles.
Everywhere you are with TuneIn Radio, the WMAY app, or at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Today, sunny and warmer with a high near 30. Low tonight around 25. Tomorrow, partly sunny and breezy with a high near 45. A sprinkle or two is possible tomorrow night with a low around 38. Thursday, continued breezy with drizzling rain with a high near 57. Friday, rain continues with a high near 48. Saturday, a chance of rain with a high near 48. And New Year's Day, partly sunny with a high near 48. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
How would you like to work for the area's premier multimedia marketing and advertising company right here in Springfield? Well, here's your opportunity. At Midwest Family, we're looking for talented and dynamic account executives who thrive in a fast-paced working environment. Those who are passionate, self-motivated, goal-oriented, and highly competitive. Are you a problem solver with great communication skills? Do you have a grasp on today's digital media? And do you have the ability to cultivate lasting relationships and partnerships? If this sounds like this is for you, apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on our careers tab. At Midwest Family Springfield, we offer unique sales career opportunities where you're given a challenging mission, world-class tools like HubSpot CRM, ongoing training, and the chance to realize your full potential as a marketing and advertising sales professional. This is Rob Zavitka, Director of Sales and Business Development Manager at Midwest Family Springfield. Are you my next candidate? If so, please apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on the careers tab. Midwest Family is an equal opportunity employer.
If and you can click, you can eat like a king and or queen. Go to headwestsubs.com and we'll have that miracle sandwich waiting for you.
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today. Yeah!
Hey, John, remember when Dick Van Dyke had their one-day-only New Year's Day sale?
And people look forward to it all year long.
Yeah, well, between an ice storm, a must-see college bowl game, and travel plans.
And a terrible headache from the night before.
Yeah, well, it's nice that it's a 6-day sale now, which makes it a lot easier to plan for.
And it's going on today.
Including the big brands like GE, Frigidaire, Electrolux, Speed Queen, and Bosch. Price like you'll never see again for another 12 months.
Washers and dryers starting at $469.99. Ranges starting at $579.99. Most of the appliances they offer are backed by their free 10-year protection plan.
So drive carefully, set the DVR, bring the family.
And knock back a pot of coffee if you have to.
If you're in a hurry. But remember, it's a 6-day sale going on today at Dick Van Dyke.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. It's all hands on deck. Not just one day, but 6 whole days of savings on everything. Your best New Year's sale deal is waiting for you today. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Let's talk about COVID-19. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk, hearing about increased cases numbers being released out of China, which shows probably the largest COVID-19 outbreak with millions and millions and millions of people. This is according to leaked documents out of China. But what about in Illinois? You're hearing out of the WMAY newsroom that Sangamon County is no longer reporting daily COVID cases. The health department announced a change on its Facebook page, but didn't immediately provide a reason for the change. COVID stats by county are still available from the Illinois Department of Public Health. But the Illinois Department of Public Health, dealing with COVID-19, had their Illinois Immunization Advisory Council meet on Thursday. And this was, a very ad hoc committee They meet maybe once a year. I don't think they met at all in 2020, but they did meet on Thursday, and they discussed the status of vaccines and where we stand with the COVID-19 vaccine. But they also heard some public comments, and one in particular was a parent named Lisa. She's a teacher, but she also homeschools children. And that's going to happen, if she says, even more if indeed the state moves forward to require COVID-19 vaccines for school kids to go to school.
I'm very concerned about the possibility of mandating COVID vaccines for children, since they are not at high risk of severe complications from it. And at this point in the pandemic, we know that it doesn't stop transmission.
So that was, again, just one parent speaking to the advisory committee remotely, and they then went through a series of statistics about the COVID-19 vaccine. We'll touch on that, but the Illinois Department of Public Health director, who was just appointed by Governor J.B. Pritzker a handful of months ago, Dr. Samir Vohra, he discussed that there is no plan right now to move forward and implement any kind of COVID vaccine mandate for school kids.
And I want to sort of assert here, and things that the governor has shared as well, that there are no plans to update the vaccine requirement for school-age children.
So no plans at this point. And I think that if you look at the numbers they provided, it really shows that the uptake is very low for the populations that could be required if there was a COVID vaccine requirement for people to go to schools. So I want to play for you that moment when they broke down some of the COVID stats. And if you're watching along with Bishop on Air on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, you'll be able to see this presentation as well with the charts and the graphs. And this is how they broke down the numbers for youth vaccine rates.
At the top of each graph, what you're seeing is the percentage of the population that has been vaccinated with a COVID vaccine, either first dose, second dose, and then either a monovalent or a bivalent booster. So you can see the percentages of each. The bottom set of numbers indicates, for the 12 to 17-year-olds, 70% of the population have had one dose of COVID-19 vaccine. And then the 92% who have had a second dose is relative to how many have had a first dose. So of those 70% of the people who have had a first dose, 92% of those have had dose number 2. 35% of those that have had dose 2 have had a monovalent booster. And at this point, about 10% of patients residents have gone on to have a bivalent booster in the 12 to 17-year-old age group. For the 5 to 11-year-olds, at this point, we have 9% of the people who have been fully vaccinated have had a bivalent booster. That vaccine became available in mid-October. Oh, I hear some feedback, but mid-October. So that's about 2 months worth of data. A little less, actually, because I believe this data goes through December 5th. And then finally, we have the youngest children. There is no bivalent information yet available for this age group because those vaccines only began to get delivered about a week and a half ago. So
you can see that the uptake for youth when it comes to the COVID-19 vaccines and the monovalent booster and the bivalent booster are very low. So if they were to require this for children to go to school, there would likely be a lot of upset parents who would be pushing back on that. So no movement at this time to mandate the COVID-19 vaccine for school children as we see this move forward and progress. But more about COVID-19 and in particular Twitter and how they may have impacted the COVID-19 discussion all throughout 2020 and 2021 and into 2022. We'll talk about that and other Twitter files that were released during the holiday break. So we'll unpack those and more. Stay tuned. It's Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. Let's take a look at Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast, where today you've got mild conditions expected with a high up to 30 degrees, the low down to 25, wind gusts still up to around 20 miles an hour. It's going to make the wind chill feel in the single digits. Then Wednesday, sunny with a high of 44. And then Thursday, got a chance of some drizzle with a high of 56. Friday, 40% chance of rain, the high of 47. And Saturday, chance of rain with a high of near 48. Right now, though, it's 9 degrees at 717 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
This is Jim over at CBD Botanicals. We are the second year in a row now sponsoring the Little Red Wagon with Christina Yock Farmers Insurance.
Hi there, this is Christina Yock with Farmers Insurance in Verdon, and we are here today at CBD Botanicals, who are one of our sponsors for our second annual Little Red Wagon donation station. We are collecting presents for shelter pets in the local area.
Some of the more needed items for this Little Red Wagon are blankets, food, and toys. The food is really important too, because I love to eat. Dogs do too.
We're going to be collecting your donations all of this month of December and through the second week of January.
While you're stopping by to donate, don't forget we also have pet items as well, whether it be a tincture or a treat or otherwise. And of course, bring your pet too, because Tatum always likes meeting new friends.
You can also go to Wagner Chiropractic and Wellness Center in Springfield, Chatham area, Dr. Sammy. Pet doctor in Rochester, Dr. Emily. Feel free to stop on by Farmers Insurance in Verdon and see me and our local pub Coraline, or again, CBD Botanicals, Tatum.
Holiday Mega Passes and Jumbo Passes from the Illinois State Fair are on sale now. Through December 31st, get the best prices of the year. Mega Passes are good for unlimited Carnival rides all 11 days of the fair in Carnival Midway and Adventure Village. Only $60 right now. For only $10 more, get the Jumbo Pass that also includes unlimited use of the giant slide during the fair. Easy to order, available 24/7 at www.illinoisstatefair.info or call 217-782-0775 during regular business hours to order. Orders can also be placed by mail or fax. Your 2023 Illinois State Fair Holiday Mega and Jumbo Passes. Now only $60 and $70. Get yours before December 31st.
The holidays are right around the corner, and boy, they can be stressful. At Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport, we help take away the hustle and bustle by providing a holly jolly travel experience. From free parking to daily nonstop flights and easy one-stop connections, travel is easier than ever when you fly SPI. 'Tis the season of travel. We're here to help you get to your loved ones. Don't wait. Book today. FlySPI.com.
Take the easy way out.
Giving blood while giving back to fight hunger. Right now, when you donate blood at the Impact Life Donor Center, we'll make a $20 donation to Feed America on your behalf. Feed America partners with local food banks. Every $10 donated helps provide 100 meals for people facing hunger. See? Giving blood while giving back to fight hunger. Even if you try to give blood and find out you can't, we're still making a donation to Feed America on your behalf. So don't delay. Make your appointment today. Giving blood is not a big deal, and you're done before you know it. Visit the Impact Life Donor Center today at Wabash and Chatham Road near Goodwill in Springfield, or on South Main Street in Decatur. Please, give what's in your heart, because we are changing the world together. Visit bloodcenter.org.
If you've already donated to a food bank, just let them know. They've got a voucher for a $20 gift card for you instead. Visit bloodcenter.org.
Hey, John, you remember when Dick Van Dyke had their one-day-only New Year's Day sale?
And people look forward to it all year long.
Well, between ice storms, a must-see college bowl game, travel plans...
And a terrible headache from the night before.
Yeah, well, it's nice that it's a 6-day sale now, which makes it a lot easier to plan for.
And it's going on today.
Including the big brands like GE, Frigidaire, Electrolux, Speed Queen, and Bosch. Price like you'll never see again for another 12 months.
Refrigerators starting at $579.99. Dishwashers starting at $409.99. Most of the appliances they offer are backed by their free 10-year protection plan.
So drive carefully, set the DVR, bring the family.
And knock back a pot of coffee if you need to.
If you're in a hurry. But remember, it's a 6-day sale going on today at Dick Van Dyke.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. It's all hands on deck. Not just one day, but 6 whole days of savings on everything. Your best New Year's sale deal is waiting for you today. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Owning a business not only means trying to turn a profit, it also means providing safety. In an emergency, Barcom Security provides you with one-button lockdown to keep intruders out and everyone inside safe. For 47 years, businesses like Henson Robinson, State Farm agent Derek Hensley, major trauma hospitals, military bases, and many more all trust Barcom Security. Contact the Springfield office of Barcom Security for a free estimate and have a secure day.
The WMAY Daily Poll is sponsored by Adams Pest Control for commercial, residential, real estate inspections, and termite control. Cast your vote with the WMAY mobile app or at WMAY.com/poll.
And today's poll question is, there have been numerous reports of flight delays over the holiday travel period. Have you been impacted? Yes, I've been affected personally. A friend or family member has, or I don't know anyone who's been directly affected. So it looks like 83% of you still don't know anyone who's been directly affected. Go vote at WMAY.com at the poll or the WMAY mobile app. And it's brought to you by Adams Pest Control.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.
While a lot of us were hanging out with family, enjoying the Christmas holiday, the journalists who've been able to view some of the internal files at Twitter have revealed some pretty alarming things that continues to highlight the federal government putting pressure on the social media company to limit speech. And people saying that this is a violation of the First Amendment. And the only reason we know about this is because Elon Musk, the world's second richest man, decided to buy Twitter and reveal all that they had behind the scenes when it came to the lead up to the 2020 election and blocking information about the Hunter Biden laptop story from being released or spread widely before an election. But it didn't just stop there. There was a constant campaign of sorts that these Twitter files reveal of the federal government putting pressure on Twitter to limit speech of certain political voices. And again, this has people raising the alarm of the First Amendment violations and raising the specter that we're going to have a lot of investigations from a Republican-controlled Congress in the U.S. House investigating this. And the FBI, in particular, is central to this. But Elon Musk was recently asked about some of the biggest revelations from the Twitter files. Here he is talking about, really what he says is becoming more apparent as time goes by.
I mean, to be totally frank, almost every conspiracy theory that people had about Twitter turned out to be true. Is there a conspiracy theory about Twitter that didn't turn out to be true? So far, they've all turned out to be true. And if not, more true than people thought.
Yeah, more true than people thought. And obviously, this is alarming. When you look at some of the most recent Twitter files that were released, we've got, let's just go to Matt Taibbi, who released stuff on Christmas Eve, and he breaks it down. Twitter files and other government agencies talking about how it didn't refute. The FBI put out a statement saying that it's just conspiracy theories and publishing misinformation. They said, but didn't necessarily directly deny what ultimately was being reported here. But he goes through and he unpacks this on Twitter, showing that the FBI acted as a doorman to a vast program of social media surveillance and censorship encompassing agencies across the federal government, from the State Department to the Pentagon to the CIA. But it was bigger than just that. They also had some state governments and local police and media involved in this as well. So you can see that it just goes on and on and on to really talk about just how over the top some of this was and how they interacted with former members of the FBI on Twitter staff and opening the door for other governments to get involved. And what was really fascinating was, and I can't remember which Twitter file it's been now, but in particular, when it comes to the COVID-19 situation, maybe we just go to David Zweig, who published his own set of Twitter files. And it was about how, he says, Twitter rigged the COVID debate by censoring info that was true but inconvenient to U.S. government policy, by discrediting doctors and other experts who disagreed, and by suppressing ordinary users, including sharing the CDC's own data. So Zweig goes on to highlight the various components of this. And what's really fascinating is there was, and again, I don't know if it was in this particular Twitter file release, but really showing, again, the Biden administration taking over from the Trump administration, wanting to focus on anti-vaxxer accounts and blocking certain individuals. But even with the former President Donald Trump, there was an exchange with the Twitter chief counsel, who was a lawyer with the FBI during the Trump-Russia conspiracy theories. There was an exchange between Yoel Roth, who was a leading censor within Twitter, and the FBI, former FBI attorney, about former President Donald Trump saying, "Don't fear COVID." And the FBI, the former FBI lawyer that worked for Twitter, said, does this violate the policies? And even Yoel Roth was like, well, no, this just seems to be more of an optimistic message not to fear COVID. So there, again, it highlights that there was this push to censor speech and censor individuals, professionals, even medical professionals who were pushing back on lockdown mandates, on COVID vaccine mandates, on pushing back against the fear that was being propagated. We only know this because Elon Musk bought Twitter and released these files. Love to hear your thoughts, 217-629-7970. You can sound off here live and local on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. And let's go to the phones. Good morning. You are on WMAY.
Well, thank you very much. You know, they went to this great extent to get this guy, I guess basically you could say rig election, but we believe that there was actually 81 million votes for this fellow, that they had to jump through all these hoops when he had such a massive support behind him. Or actually, you think they may have actually done something to rig the election so that all these votes actually didn't really happen? Like some of these theories or conspiracy theories about voter fraud. Now that we're finding that all these other conspiracy theories are true.
Well, I think the big takeaway, though, is that, aside from the votes that were counted and the certified election that did happen, it's certified, the 2020 election. But I think the biggest concern out of these Twitter files is that they rigged the debate. They rigged the political conversation. By first blocking the Hunter Biden laptop story, and then also seeming to limit the dissent of those asking questions about COVID-19 policy and how it would negatively impact people, from locking them at home, not letting kids go to school, the negative impacts that are possible with vaccines that were just being tested and so on, how these social media companies rigged that debate. That's what these Twitter files really are showing. And I think we're going to see a lot more on this, a lot of investigation on this. And it's not the last we hear of the Twitter files. And it begs the question of just how pervasive this was elsewhere, not just with Twitter, but you've got Facebook. which Mark Zuckerberg's already told Joe Rogan that Facebook was told by the FBI to watch out for, this laptop story. It's Russian disinformation, despite the FBI having had the laptop for a year, knowing that it wasn't hacked, and they still put this information out. So how they rigged the debate is really at the crux of what happened with social media leading into the 2020 election, how they handled COVID-19 information across social media channels, not just with Twitter, but also with Facebook, also with YouTube. So these things going to come to light at some point, and you can anticipate that a Republican-controlled U.S. House is going to work to get to the bottom of this and a whole host of other things. So rather fascinating to see all that drop. And much more to come, as even Elon Musk saying on Twitter that you've got a lot more coming out. More on the Twitter Files, COVID edition, than this introductory thread. A follow-up piece to come in the week ahead, featuring leading doctors, researchers from Harvard, Stanford, and other institutions that were limited in their speech during COVID-19. Again, this is Elon Musk sharing on Twitter that much more of the Twitter Files to come. Again, not going to hear the last of this for any time soon, because the fact that you have government agencies putting pressure on social media companies to limit speech itself is a huge story. And if certain media outlets aren't reporting on this, it begs the question as to why. Were they complicit? Were they part of this scheme? The corporate media that promulgated all the COVID information and the stats that they put out regularly about COVID deaths and so on. Why are they not now reporting on this massive data dump indicating that there was a coordinated campaign, not just with the federal government, but also with governments across the country to limit speech ahead of an election, during a pandemic? And how do we get control of that and ensure that our fundamental civil rights of free speech, of free press, of free assembly are not limited by government coercion? Feels like we're in the Twilight Zone sometimes, I swear. All right, Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. Got to take a break and get you updated with headlines. It's now 7:34 on WMAY.
92.7 WMAY.
Here are the three big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story. Ukraine's foreign minister says his government is aiming to have a peace summit by the end of February, preferably at the United Nations. Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba told the Associated Press on Monday that he was absolutely satisfied with the results of President Volodymyr Zelensky's visit to the U.S. last week. And Kuleba revealed that the U.S. government has made a special plan to get the Patriot missile battery ready to be operational in the country in less than 6 months, a process which usually takes up to a year. Springfield fire investigators are still looking for victims in the rubble of the old Goodwill building after a Christmas Eve fire. Several squatters were inside the building when the fire broke out early Saturday and escaped, but said others may have still been in the building. Fire Chief Brandon Blau says the condition of the structure, the weather, and the lack of availability of cadaver dogs have hampered search efforts. 2 people are still unaccounted for, but a full search of the debris is not expected until Tuesday. It's like a Christmas story come to life. Authorities in Cairo had to come to the assistance of a child whose tongue stuck to a frozen outdoor pole during last week's bitter cold. Fox 2 in St. Louis reports that crews were able to free the child without any significant injury. Authorities did not release the age or gender of the child. The incident was reminiscent of the famous scene in the classic holiday film in which a boy accepts a triple dog dare to lick a pole, and his tongue froze to it. The widow of an Illinois state senator who died earlier this month has been appointed to replace him for the final few days of his term. Stacey Bennett was named to fill the vacancy left when her husband, Senator Scott Bennett, died unexpectedly of a brain tumor on December 9th. She will serve during the January lame duck session, but is not seeking appointment to the full 2-year term that begins when the new legislature is sworn in on January 11th. The steady decline in local gas prices may be starting to level off. The average price for regular unleaded in Springfield has fallen below $3 a gallon in the past week, but Monday's average of $2.95 a gallon was up slightly from Sunday. Still, prices are down more than 60 cents a gallon from 1 month ago and are more than 40% lower than the record highs set last June. Now that Christmas is over, it's time to get ready for Springfield's annual Christmas tree pickup. The city provides free pickup of natural trees and wreaths for city residents. Trees must be placed by the curbside by 7 a.m. on January 9th. City crews will make one pass only through each neighborhood. All ornaments and tinsel must be removed, and wreaths with wire will not be accepted. Contact the Springfield Department of Public Works for more information. The steady decline in local gas prices may be starting to level off. The average price for regular unleaded in Springfield has fallen below $3 a gallon in the past week, but Monday's average of $2.95 a gallon was up slightly from Sunday. Still, prices are down more than 60 cents a gallon from 1 month ago and are more than 40% lower than the record highs set last June. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
News sponsored by 7th Street Cidery, Central Illinois' first cidery. Now open next door to Obed and Isaac's in downtown Springfield. Springfield has so many must-see destinations when you come to visit, such as the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum, Bicentennial Plaza, and don't forget 7th Street Cidery. Yes, 7th Street Cidery, Central Illinois' first cidery, is quickly becoming a destination for their great selection of locally sourced ciders, meads, and perries in a warm, rustic atmosphere. Located at 503 South 7th Street next to Obed and Isaac's and across from Lincoln's home. Near great shopping and history in the heart of downtown Springfield. 7th Street Cidery.
If you love barbecue and tasty butts drive you nuts, wiggle on over to Lil Willie's Smokehouse. Fresh smoked barbecue that you're gonna love. What's your pleasure? Brisket, pork, chicken? Lil Willie's got it. And all of the classic sides, like homemade mac and cheese and cornbread. Follow your nose to the smoke at Lil Willie's Smokehouse. Ask about Willie's Rewards, where you get points for eating barbecue. Lil Willie's Smokehouse at the corner of South Grand and MacArthur. Wiggle Central.
For more information, visit littlewilliesbbq.com.
BLH Computers, they have locations in Springfield, Taylorville, and Jacksonville. Santa brought you some new toys for Christmas, so now the question becomes, what do you do with that old stuff? Well, the place that Santa picked up those new electronics is the same place that you can drop off those old electronics. You can recycle those old computers, whether it's desktops, whether it's laptops, even the printers, the monitors, the other accessories that go along with the computer. All of that stuff can be dropped off and will be safely recycled by the E. Stewart Certified Recyclers in Central Illinois. That is BLH Computers, which if you didn't know, that is what makes BLH Computers the largest electronics recycler in our region. So you can say goodbye to the old and you can enjoy the new. Recycle those old electronics at BLH Computers. BLH Computers with locations in Springfield, Jacksonville, Taylorville. Like and follow them on Facebook and learn more online. BLHcomputers.com.
Hi, it's Ed Lex with Edward Jones. Listen to the Business Spotlight with Edward Jones this afternoon at 5:40 on 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
Everywhere you are, everywhere you live, with TuneIn Radio, the WMAY app, or listen at home with your Amazon smart speaker. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Today, sunny and warmer with a high near 30. Low tonight around 25. Tomorrow, partly sunny and breezy with a high near 45. A sprinkle or two is possible tomorrow night with a low around 38. Thursday, continued breezy with drizzling rain with a high near 57. Friday, rain continues with a high near 48. Saturday, a chance of rain with a high near 48. And New Year's Day, partly sunny with a high near 48. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
This is the time of year to be thinking about furnace maintenance as the weather is going to get steadily cooler. But if your furnace is 12 to 15 years old or older, it may be time to think about furnace replacement. The typical lifespan for a good furnace is about 12 to 15 years. And if it's been working hard for that time or more, it really is time to think about replacing it. There's a lot of benefits to it. You will see dramatically improved energy efficiency, lower utility bills, and a home that's a lot more comfortable. So reach out to the furnace installation experts at MB Heating and Cooling today. Now, if your furnace just needs maintenance, MB is also the place to go. You can sign up for a service agreement with MB Heating and Cooling for 2 performance tune-ups per year, 24-hour priority service and energy-saving coil cleaning, and a discount on replacement parts and labor. Whether you have a need for maintenance or for a replacement, call MB Heating and Cooling.
Call 217-544-HEAT, 544-4328, or visit mb-heating.com.
Online means no lines. When you're ordering from Head West, go to headwestsubs.com and get fed without waiting in line.
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today. Yeah!
92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
So the new year brings a whole bunch of new laws. More than 180 new laws in Illinois take effect January 1st, and I'm not going to go through all 180, but there's definitely some ones that you need to know about heading into the new year. Good morning, I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. You can always call in live and local at 217-629-7970, or you can email bishoponair@gmail.com, or find me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Just search Bishop on Air, and you can subscribe, follow, and see all the work that we do here with not just the morning show, but also with the Center Square and Illinois Radio Network. I am definitely a busy guy when it comes to keeping my eyes on all things that are happening, not just with the state government, but even what's happening over in Washington, D.C. with that $1.7 trillion spending bill that they passed last minute before leaving for the holidays in fine style, seeming to follow a lot of the playbook that Illinois has. And last-minute bill drops that are thousands of pages long, leading to virtually zero debate about what those bills have, so the public can actually digest them. But 180 plus new laws taking effect, all right, and that's ranging from taxes to how businesses are impacted to how your home is going to be impacted, education, veterans, local governments being impacted. I mean, I've got a stack here of just some synopses of all of these different laws that are taking effect. So we'll do what we can to unpack some of that for you. But taxes. There's of course the gas tax that's going to increase January 1st. And that's going to be increased by about 3 cents, I believe. And that's delayed from the gas tax increase that was supposed to take effect July 1st. So instead, lawmakers pushed that to January 1st. So you got a gas tax there. But then you've got another gas tax that's going to be in on July 1st of 2023. So that's going to increase. But you also have some other things impacting businesses that are going to increase as well, and that's the minimum wage. So the minimum wage goes up January 1st to $13 an hour, I believe, and then 2024 it'll go up to $14 an hour, and then 2025 it'll go up to $15 an hour. But that's not the only thing impacting businesses. There's also a job training assistance and support services pilot program that's going to launch, subject to appropriation. And that, of course, is a line that you hear a lot in this legislation. It's new programs, new grants that might be postulated and thought about and then passed, but it's subject to appropriation. They will have to put a line item in the budget to fund a job training assistance and support services pilot program. But there's also a development grant that's subject to appropriation with industrial biotechnology workforce. So that's something else that could impact business. But also some changes and modifications to child labor law. So if you run a business, you might want to get updated on what's going to happen January 1st. You also have several instances that are impacting employers and how they offer benefits, including 1 day of rest in 7 days of work. So that's going to be a requirement. You've also got some grants that are going to be available for businesses in border communities. We hear a lot from some of these business owners, and in particular, like the gas station group, that says a lot of the gas stations on border communities, because Illinois' gas prices are so much higher than our neighboring states, you see a lot of loss of business to other states. And maybe this grant, again, subject to appropriation, for border communities will help out some of those businesses. Also, here's a little brief bit on how businesses are going to be impacted with the new law taking effect. It says it's unlawful for a child sex offender to knowingly operate, manage, be employed by, or be associated with any carnival, amusement enterprise, or county or state fair when the person under the age of 18 are present. So the addition there is prohibiting individuals who are sex offenders from working at a carnival, an amusement enterprise, or a state fair. And we saw that problem pop up at the Illinois State Fair this past year. Also, bereavement time. That's been updated to allow for extended bereavement time for employees. So that's something else. As employers, you're going to have to understand fully and provide those benefits. You also have the unemployment trust fund that's going to be paid off in its entirety, and this was the debt that was amassed whenever you had the COVID-19 situation and the governor's requiring businesses to shut down and not have in-person service, and that led to a huge amount of unemployment debt. We still don't know how much fraud there's been, but the legislation's in place now to have that paid off. So those are just some of the various things that are going to be impacting businesses. There's also farmers markets regulations that are put in there, and the Latex Glove Ban Act. So latex gloves being regulated when it comes to the workplace. So those are just some of the laws that are impacting businesses in Illinois. That's a small sample. All right, so in January 1st, those kick in. But coming back, we'll look at stuff that's going to be impacting education, homes, local government, the foreign fire insurance fee, license plates and drivers, and how can we not forget about the Safety Act and all that's going on there when it comes to the implementation January 1st. Stay tuned. Got a lot more to get to here with Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. And let's take a look at Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast, where today you've got a high of 30 with the low down to 25, and wind gusts are going to be up around 25 miles an hour. It's going to make it feel like single digits out there. Then Wednesday, sunny with a high of 44, 20-mile-an-hour wind gusts up to 30 miles an hour. And then Wednesday night, the low of 37. Got some drizzle possible Thursday with a high up to 56. Friday, 40% chance of rain, a high of 47. And then Saturday, 50-50 chance of rain with a high of 48. Right now, it's about 10 degrees at 749 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
Hello, Lauterbach Man here. People often come by and they say to me, Lauterbach Man, how do you manage to stay outside all winter? But because they're so short, it just sounds like... But I get the gist. It's cold out, and how can a fella like me endure the cold? Because at Lauterbach Tire, we understand staying outside in the cold. Your car does it every single winter. Oh yes, it challenges the batteries and belts and important fluids, but does it ever break down? No, because you brought your car to my top team of automotive technicians. Winter is tough on us all, but it doesn't have to be tough on your car. We'll make sure it's happy to start up in the morning. Oh, somebody else down there is asking me something. How zebras, tomato soup, hamper, shoelace? I can't understand you. No, it's because you're short. Sorry. Lauterbach Man at Lauterbach Tire on Wabash. We fix cars so you can drive safely now.
Holiday mega passes and jumbo passes from the Illinois State Fair are on sale now. Through December 31st, get the best prices of the year. Mega passes are good for unlimited carnival rides all 11 days of the fair in Carnival Midway and Adventure Village. Only $60 right now. For only $10 more, get the jumbo pass that also includes unlimited use of the giant slide during the fair. Easy to order, available 24/7 at www.illinoisstatefair.info or call 217-782-0775 during regular business hours to order. Orders can also be placed by mail or fax. Your 2023 Illinois State Fair Holiday Mega and Jumbo Passes. Now only $60 and $70. Get yours before December 31st.
Hi, I'm Ed Lex, your Springfield Edward Jones financial advisor. There is nothing more important to me than understanding what's important to you. Only then can you and I work through our established process to build your personalized strategies and the specific actions needed to help you achieve your financial goals. I'll continue to partner with you and your family throughout your life, revisiting your goals and risk tolerance, as well as the strategies we develop to help keep you on track towards your goals. Edward Jones, making sense of investing, member SIPC.
Giving blood while giving back to fight hunger. Right now, when you donate blood at the Impact Life Donor Center, we'll make a $20 donation to Feed America on your behalf. Feed America partners with local food banks. Every $10 donated helps provide 100 meals for people facing hunger. See? Giving blood while giving back to fight hunger. Even if you try to give blood and find out you can't, we're still making a donation to Feed America on your behalf. So don't delay. Make your appointment today. Giving blood is not a big deal, and you're done before you know it. Visit the Impact Life Donor Center today at Wabash and Chatham Road near Goodwill in Springfield or on South Main Street in Decatur. Please give what's in your heart because we are changing the world together. Visit bloodcenter.org.
If you've already donated to a food bank, just let them know. They've got a voucher for a $20 gift card for you instead. Visit bloodcenter.org.
Shop the largest selection of Amish and American-made furniture all in one location at Hendricks Home Furnishings. From living room upholstery and accent tables to bedroom, dining room, and home office furniture. Select your sizes, wood finishes, colors, leathers, and fabrics of your choice. At Hendricks, the options are endless for style and comfort that will last a lifetime. Come shop Amish and American-made furniture on sale now. Hendricks Home Furnishings in Verdon and online at hendricks.tv, where you can always talk to the owners.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-504-8609 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-504-8609. That's 800-504-8609. What do you have to lose? Call 800-504-8609. Again, 800-504-8609.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 92.7 WMAY.
We've been talking about new laws taking effect January 1st and all the ones that impacted businesses. We talked about last segment, but even homeowners are going to be impacted, including when it comes to lead pipes. So there's some regulations that are going to be taking effect dealing with lead pipes in homes. There's also a mobile home tenant rights amendment that gives some more rights to those who are living in mobile homes, and some other property rights legislation that also deal with condo property as well. So those are just some of the things impacting home ownership or where you dwell, but also how you educate your kids. So one law that's taking effect January 1st, a public school district, or daycare shall provide written or telephonic notification to parents and guardians prior to any application of coal tar-based sealant product. All right. But there's also trauma-informed practices that are going to be implemented in the education space. For school bus drivers, new regulation, it says if an applicant's driver's license has been suspended within 3 years immediately prior to the date of application for the sole reason of failure to pay child support, That suspension shall not bar the applicant from receiving a school bus driving permit. So it seems to give a 3-year buffer of sorts when it comes to school bus drivers as to whether they paid their child support. Also, some legislation and laws taking effect impacting school boundaries, changes to the evidence-based funding model, college and career readiness systems, what constitutes a valid school absence. This one's interesting. It says if it's an event sponsored by a nonprofit organization or governmental entity that is open to the public, civic event includes but not limited to an artistic or cultural performance or educational gathering that supports the mission of the sponsoring nonprofit organization. The State Board of Education may adopt rules to further define civic events that could allow for some allowed absences from schools. Also, you've got veterans being impacted. Veteran homelessness legislation meant to address that. You've got the Veteran Assistance Commission funding legislation to address that. Vital records as well when it comes to veterans. And a skill bridge program that's subject to appropriation, but the Department of Veterans Affairs is going to work with others to develop a Department of Defense skill bridge program in Illinois to allow for training of qualified individuals. There's a whole host of other legislation going into effect January 1st, impacting local government, including debt collection costs for fire districts. This is fascinating, especially when we've got a lot of fire districts that assist others. So January 1st, a municipality that does not timely make the payment for a fire district, then they could be taken to collections. So pitting fire districts against municipalities and so on. Also, there's some changes to the foreign fire insurance fee program. We've talked about that in the past. Some of you may be familiar with that, but I think this allows for the local body to collect and manage their foreign fire insurance fee, which is a fee paid by the consumer if they get an out-of-state insurance company to insure for fire damage. Since it's not an Illinois company, they pay an extra fee, and that goes into a pot of money that can then be used by the local fire districts for various support services and equipment. So some things impacting local businesses. But then you get into some of the fun stuff. Senior citizens will have some new license plate options. You got a Gold Star license plate that's going to be offered up for the widower and parents of Illinois residents, or each Illinois resident who's a child, stepchild, or through adoption or brother to get a Gold Star license plate. Specialty license plates for fallen police, a mammogram license plate, and also getting rid of the St. Louis Rams license plate while adding a Chicago Sky, Chicago Red Stars, and Chicago Fire license plate. A bunch of other things impacting towing, national driver's ed standards, and more. But then you get to crime and corrections. And of course, the Safety Act is a huge one. But we still don't know the full outcome of the Safety Act lawsuits that's pending in Kankakee County. And actually, we could get that determination as early as today, possibly tomorrow. So that's something else that we'll be updating you on, that lawsuit, and it's likely going to go all the way up to the Illinois Supreme Court dealing with the Safety Act. But hey, have no fear. Also, you've got a host of other things like state designations for the state rock, Dolostone, Sweet Corn Appreciation Day, and a state snake. They saved the day.
From the Fly SPI Studios, take the easy way out. WMAY